Hi besties, if you are new here, welcome to my thug life. My name is Nella and this is Growth with Nella. If you're a returning bestie, welcome back bestie. Thank you so much for tuning back into the channel. Today's video is on a pretty sensitive topic, which is daddy issues, a topic that is very sensitive to me and my heart. And I am well aware that it could also be sensitive and triggering to other people. So if you feel like this topic could be a trigger to you or for you, please do not be afraid to click out of this video, because I do not want to be the cause of people's past traumas making a comeback. I really don't know how I'm going to do this. Oh my word, child. I do have my notebook / journal with me where I have written all the things that I would like to tackle in this video. Yeah, I'm already feeling a bit awkward in it. The term or the phrase daddy issues is used when someone has psychological or emotional problems stemming from a failed or an absent relationship with their father, right? There are many ways in which daddy issues can occur for different people. I know for a fact that my daddy issues look different to the next person's daddy issues, in as much as society has their own definition of what daddy issues look like or what daddy issues are. They differ from person to person. Am I making sense? I hope I am. For most of us, our fathers are our first love, myself included. I remember growing up, even as much as I didn't live with my dad in the same house, he used to come to our house quite a lot, like frequently he'd visit. And every time I saw him, I didn't look at him and look at like a regular man. I looked at him and I saw a hero. I don't know, man, I just looked at him and he didn't look like a regular man. I don't know how exactly to explain it, because one thing about it, I don't really know how to express my emotions and to express the things that I'm thinking in my head. But he just looked like someone that wasn't like any other regular man. Do you understand? Like looking at my uncles, looking at my father, it was two different things, two different people. You know, looking at strangers and looking at my father, it was two different things, two different people. So when they say your father is your first love, that is the man that is supposed to first protect you, first love you, literally be your all before any other man can step in your life and take over the role of having to protect you, having to love you, having to shield you from problems and, you know, any issues that may arise, especially for girls, because in as much as I understand that a father's love and a father's presence is important for abafana, I feel like with girls it's a bit more sentimental, because it runs deeper than just, oh my god, my father's there to teach me 1, 2, 3. He's more so just there to show you love. He's more so just there to teach you how you should be loved, you know. That's the first person you expect to protect you. That's the first person you would expect to love you. That's the first person you'd expect to teach you certain things like riding a bike. You know, that's the first person that's supposed to be telling you a man is not supposed to treat you like this, a man is supposed to bring you flowers, a man is supposed to open doors for you. That is the man that is supposed to kind of pave the way into how you should be treated in relationships. So the second that person fails to teach you that, be it as a young girl, be it as someone who's yet to be in a marriage, or someone who's getting engaged, just got proposed to, whatever the situation is, when you look at your father, you literally look at, if my father was able to treat me like that, there's no way I'm going to let another person treat me any less. If your father expressed love to you, if your father provided for you, gave you everything you need in your life, and there was no way where you felt like you were lacking because your father was there, you would know that when you get in a relationship, you shouldn't be treated any less, because you had everything you wanted and your father provided everything you would have wanted or needed as a person. Does that make sense? I hope it does. This is the first man in your life. Let's put God aside for now. This is the first man in your life. This is the first man you create an early bond with. The bond that will determine the way you look at love, the bond that will determine the way you see relationships, and it's the bond that will determine your views on relationships. Mind you, these relationships don't always have to be romantic, including platonic relationships as well. Everything that kind of happens with your father from a very young age determines how you go about living your life. And that's a fact we all need to start coming into realization with. This is the first man that serves as a role model in your life. how he treats you, how he nurtures for you, how he loves you, how he protects you, determines how you want to be loved in the future. It determines and it kind of sets expectations for you from what you would like or from what you would want in a partner in the future, right? This is the first man that's supposed to make sure that you're protected. This is the first man that's supposed to provide you with nothing but security, kalo. Now, when that first man who is your first love becomes your first heartbreak, oh my. When your father becomes your first heartbreak, it creates a mess. It creates a mess in you. It creates a future mess in the relationships you are yet to explore and yet to get yourself involved in. It just creates a mess. I am 20 years old, yet to turn 21, and I can say that the issues I have with my father, dad issues, have affected me in many ways than just one. I know that someone may sit there and say, but you're only 20, bro. Like, what do you mean it has affected your relationships? Da, 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 da. Just because I'm young doesn't necessarily mean I am unaware. Just because I am young doesn't mean his absence doesn't affect me. And just because I'm young doesn't mean I shouldn't address it. Because one thing I've come to realize, and I see it with people who are now parents, people who are grown, hurt people hurt people. So if you don't heal from whatever hurt you, you're bound to hurt other people. If you don't heal from whatever hurt you, you're bound to project your pain onto your children. So if we don't address these issues as young as we are, and if we don't face reality as reality comes and as reality hits us in the future, that is going to affect not only us, but our relationships, our life partners, as well as our children and our grandchildren. When your father as your first love becomes your first heartbreak, it can lead to so many things. It can lead to things like a low self-esteem, the fear of abandonment, fear of rejection, the need to be independent. With some people, it can be the need to be dependent on other people. You can feel like you have so much anger. I know with me, at some points, I grew up with a lot of anger. And such things, when you involve yourself in relationships, whether platonic, whether romantic, it can lead to a lot of self-sabotage. Like, you self-sabotage. Do you understand? Like, you literally self-sabotage. And sometimes not even in your relationship, but like generally as you're living your life and as you go about, you know, the things you do in clubbing and like with your life, you will self-sabotage without even realizing what you're self-sabotaging. One thing I've noticed, these things that serve as an end result from your father being your first heartbreak will become issues that you project onto your relationships, your friendships, and relationships you have with family members. You will also start using them as a shield to cover up from what you are, who you are, and how you act and how you go about life. I think I've noticed this with myself. Like, in as much as I don't make my father issues a brand of mine, like, I really don't walk around like, oh my god, I got daddy issues. I see girlies on TikTok joking about like they will use the fact that they don't have a father to get people to do things for them. And I'm just there like, I will use the fact that I don't have a father to get me to do things for myself. I didn't really give boys a chance in my period of high school. Even now, I still don't. Not like that. And I'm just like, shut up, dog. Like, I find out you leave. You know, like, that's my thing. You will leave. And before you leave, it's better I leave. Hence, I say the relationships and the boys I gave a chance in high school, it didn't last. It didn't last. I'll leave. One thing about it, like, I leave. Society's definition of what daddy issues are doesn't resonate with everyone else's definition of what daddy issues are. Daddy issues differ from person to person. They differ from gender to gender also. And we really need to come to terms with that, eh? Like, we really need to come to terms with that. Because people will see you posting a bikini post on Instagram. So like, you wearing a bikini, you know, you look sexy, you post a picture there. And you'll hear people on some, this one is always posting naked pictures, looking for male validation, daddy issues. Ay, boy, nah. Like, how did we get there? Like, what makes you think I have daddy issues just because I'm posting in a bikini? So typically in society, daddy issues look something like you giving multiple men a chance, you dating older guys, you posting half naked / bikini pictures on Instagram, or rather social media generally, you wanting to be given princess treatment because society believes that if you want princess treatment from your life partner or from your partner in general, you lacked that treatment from your own father. Daddy issues in society look something like you wanting a man who drives a car because your father was never around to drive you around. Daddy issues in society look something like you wanting a man to be there with you, like constantly all up on your space, like in your space, sorry, with you, you know, loving you, giving you all the TLC you need because your father failed to give that to you. In a nutshell, that's what daddy issues look like in society. If you ask someone randomly, define what daddy issues are to me, they'll tell you something like, yeah, amantombazana that have daddy issues afuna abafana abazobanika imali, yeah. Why ufuna imali kimi, ubaba kanganginikeza imali, ubaba kho bekangekho uzokuthanda sofuna mina manje. Another thing I need people in society to understand that girls are not the only people suffering from daddy issues. It's not only girls who suffer from daddy issues. Guys also suffer from daddy issues. Daddy issues to me look something like me letting you go when it's time for me to let you go. They look something like me not chasing after you. They look something like, in a way, being independent, because for the most part I am dependent on my mom. They look something like not giving you a chance because you haven't proven to me that you deserve the chance. They look something like not fighting for you to stay because if my father left, what makes me think you won't leave? They look something like not feeling entitled to whatever a man has or whatever a man should give me because growing up, my father never gave me that. Do you understand? Daddy issues to me look something like having to work hard because I was raised by a woman who provided for us and provided for herself and never needed nor had the help or the assistance from another man except God. Do you understand? Daddy issues to me look something like not trusting you because if my father was able to lie, what makes me think you won't lie? Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying every man is the same. Not all men are the same. Yes, I really do believe that not all men are the same. However, like I said in the beginning of the video, when your father is the first man that you know and your father is the first love of your life, that relationship and that bond kind of creates the foundation of how you view other relationships. It creates the foundation of how you go into other relationships and the perspective you have going into other relationships. Do you understand? Daddy issues to me look something like you're not about to talk shit to me because my father himself was never given the chance to talk to me like crap. Daddy issues to me means having to stand up for myself because I never had a man to stand up for me. I was never given the chance, or rather I never had the chance to say "Ngwatjela papa" like all these other girls. They get bullied in school, they go and tell their dads. I had to stand up for myself. I had to teach myself to stand up for myself. Daddy issues to me look something like having to run to my brothers for assistance or whenever I need a man's assistance in something because my dad is never there for me. Instead of running to other men, strangers, or whatever the need is, I have brothers. If you know me, you know. One thing I will say, one thing I will say, and I will say with my chest, they will pick me up, they will drop me off. They will send me money, they will buy me food, they will do whatever I want for them to do for me or whatever I ask for them to do for me. So now imagine with that kind of love at home from my mom, from my brothers, why do I need to go looking for it somewhere else, from another man, from another man's father, from another man's son? Why? Do you understand? Daddy issues look different for people, yes. So my daddy issues could look different from your daddy issues. My need for independence because of my daddy issues could be a me thing, right? But you might feel like you need to be dependent. Hence, a lot of people in society believe that when someone has daddy issues, they need to depend on another man. when they meet somebody, all they want to do is just get validated by that person because they didn't have the validation that they needed from their father growing up. You understand what I'm saying? I know with me, the daddy issues that I have, or rather the problems that I have with my father, kind of led to me not trusting men. I'm not gonna lie, like I don't trust men. I just don't trust men, and it's not something to be proud of, but it is something that I do have a problem with. I don't trust men. Like I said, daddy issues differ from person to person. My daddy issues might look something like I don't need a man, and yours might be I need a man. I know a lot of girls that jump from relationship to relationship to relationship to relationship because of the absence of their fathers in their lives, and they felt the need to constantly have someone in their life to fill that gap. Part of the reason I don't walk around carrying my daddy issues with me is because my mother has always been present in my life. She always ensured to play both sides of the whole parenting thing. She played the father figure and she played the mother figure. She gave me all the love I could possibly ever ask for. She provided me in so many ways possible, and that's why I personally feel like my daddy issues don't define me, and I feel like I'm better than my daddy issues. You understand? So the whole thing of needing validation from other people to fill the gaps that need to be filled because of my father's absence, to me is not a thing, because my mother ensured, she made sure to fill up those spaces. I can easily say with my heart that the woman that raised me with nothing but love, raised me with nothing but protection, raised me with nothing but TLC, bro, like tender love and care, literally. And in as much as I do have daddy issues, I hate that term so much. As much as I have daddy issues, I can't sit here and say my mom failed me as a daughter or my mom failed me as her child. She did not. She did not. I think I can confidently say, walking around in these streets, you won't be able to tell that that girl has daddy issues, because I don't carry it with me. It's not my brand. I don't speak of it. And even when I do speak about it, I'm not proud to say I have daddy issues. To heal from your daddy issues, make sure that you understand that your daddy issues do not define you. Try to move away from your daddy issues. Understand the fact that the issues you have with your dad aren't necessarily because of you, they're because of him. Therefore, do not carry the pressure, or rather don't carry the weight of these daddy issues with you. Try to not make it your brand as much as you possibly can. Also, try to look at yourself separate from your daddy issues and separate from the person that your father is as a man. Look at yourself as your own self and just try to live outside of the fact that you have daddy issues. With that being said, if you enjoyed today's video, please do not forget to give it a big thumbs up, a comment, a share, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.